As many of you are aware, our elected fiscal officer resigned February, I believe it was the 7th, leaving the board 30 days to make an appointment before that appointment becomes the responsibility of the probate court judge. Mr. Dan Matsko had signed on with us as an assistant in August, September? July, okay, July of last year. Mr. May needed some help. There were some issues, there's some catching up to do, to be sure, and Dan jumped right in with both feet. I was gonna say months later, was it, when did we appoint you as deputy then?
December 1st.
December. We had reason that Fred was somewhat incapacitated, and we appointed Mr. Matsko as our deputy fiscal officer in order to keep paying bills and doing township business. And that was much appreciated. Okay, so upon Fred's resignation, we discussed it as a board and took a course of action that we would consider applications or letters of interest from township members or township residents that were interested in the position. We did receive a couple. I would say I certainly took consideration of them over the weekend. Mike, I'm sure you saw them as well. And
Me too.
we had three, actually. We had three. One from Mr. Matsko. Dan being in the position, obviously, I'm going to say had a leg up, and when he disclosed that he had interest in the full-time position, I would say obviously he would be the lead candidate. So at this point, Dan, we appreciate everything you've done in his unofficial role, but I would like to make a motion that we appoint Dan Matsko as our full-time fiscal officer, well, part-time job, but our
How about just fiscal
dedicated
officer?
fiscal officer in Auburn Township.
Before we vote on that, I just want to say, I did look at the other two applications that we got. I know Brian's here tonight, he's very qualified, and so is Mr. Roth, also very qualified. But again, I concur with you that we've put a lot of stock in Dan already, who's brought us up to speed with some of the things that we had to do. So there's no question that he would be the lead candidate, and I would agree with your assessment.
Michael, anything?
Yeah, I concur. And again, the fiscal officer duties, people kind of think of it as basically an accounting position. That'd be the equivalent in a private organization. But everything that has to do with the township finances is so specific. The accounting system is very specific, and I mean, Dan's been working on it now over 8-9 months, and it took him that long really to get into the point where, let's say, not to understand 100% of everything, because I don't believe anybody does in that accounting system, but with what he's got going and the fact that we have to keep this moving, that really, there was no contest for who was going to be taking that position, so I concur that Dan is by and far the most qualified candidate for that position.
Okay, I made the motion.
With that, I'll second the motion.
There's a second. Want to call for a vote?
Gene,
Yes.
Yes.
Mike, PJ.
Yes. Congratulations. I'll give you, we're going to do the oath here. Raise your right hand. I,
I,
Dan Matsko.
Dan Mansell.
Okay. Do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that I will discharge the duties of fiscal officer in Auburn Township.
TJ, about 4 words at a time.
In
He's
Geauga
looking at you
County
like, what?
with high fidelity.
Or you could just
Okay,
say I do.
and I will discharge the duties of fiscal officer in Auburn Township, in Geauga County, with high fidelity.
I will.
Okay, you need some signatures here? Congratulations.
Just takes me back to Animal House.
Yep. You need to sign it?
He does, and then there's a couple down, well, Nancy needs to notarize. Yeah, Nancy needs to notarize. So,
That's the only thing?
Yeah, we'll put this right here.
I'll send that up, give Nancy the specifics of that so we can get that into the letter.
I'll second that motion.
PJ?
If I may, you want
Yep.
to maybe make a request to the prosecutor's office to pursue the legal action that, Mr. Kitco is requesting, so,
Okay.
just as a suggestion, I'm not trying to.
No,
Yeah.
thank you.
So.
He's gonna bill us
No.
minimum 4 hours. I know how they work, man.
I was gonna ask you why you didn't interview me, but,
Well, that's another whole subject with the prosecutor's office.
About
Am I right?
About interviews.
About
for-
going into executive session.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't have to go into executive session.
No,
to
we
interview
don't.
No,
them.
we don't.
And we won't.
But we
You
used
could
to.
you could interview in the public.
We could.
So, anyway,
Go
Okay,
ahead.
we got a motion in a
I
second.
got a motion.
PJ?
Yes.
Gene?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
That's all I have.
I mentioned the loans. All right, before I forget, we needed to, a letter from Chrissy Ryan, so. Well, I know what it said, so I'm gonna make a motion to rescind the position of Deputy Fiscal Officer. That's on her advice.
I'll second it. I would also say, in the near future, we should also look for an assistant to the
Agreed.
fiscal, because I think what got our last fiscal officer in some trouble is that he couldn't keep up, and he was behind, and you see what that's caused. So I would say in the very near future, we should look at an application for an assistant to the fiscal officer.
I would agree, and that's one reason I appreciate the applications we got. Thank you, Brian, and the other fellow that applied. These are people that are interested and live in the township. I guess that wouldn't be a requirement for an assistant, but it's good to know there's people out there.
I was looking, there's also some up-and-coming changes in the ORC that the fiscal officer can select a assistant and specify their compensation.
Yeah.
So, it used to be the trustees would look at compensation.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about some things that are required now to catch up tonight, a little further down the agenda. But you're right, once things get back back to ship shape, I think an assistant for the fiscal officer would be a wise move. And honestly, Dan, if you asked for one, we're obligated to hire one for you. That was also in the revised code.
We want to vote on the motion to rescind?
We do need to vote on that motion.
PJ?
Yes.
Gene?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
All right, that's all I have. So, Mr. Matsko?